All right, welcome everybody. At this time at 6 o'clock, if you will stand with me, we will begin with our invocation and a pledge of allegiance. Come on in. Is that everybody, Danny, out there that you can tell? Is anybody else out there?
There's more people.
Ask them if they're going to come in or if they want to join us in a minute. Yeah, they're going to come on in? Okay. Well, we're ready to begin if y'all coming on in. Oh, okay. Well, then come on in after. You can come on in just a second. All right. Thank you, Danny. All right, if you'll join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We ask for your protection from the cold weather this evening, and we just thank you for the change of the seasons. It's been interesting to say the least. We lift up this agenda unto you and ask that your will would be done, that you would give us wisdom, that you would give us a spirit of cooperation and a sense of urgency to do the right thing. Once again, we give you the praise for everything that happens here. We thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Troy. All right, I want to welcome everyone to our second meeting of the month, our special meeting. This is our evening meeting, of course. Today is January 27th. 2014, and it's just after 6 p.m. We'll begin with item number 1, public comments and or requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with section 551.042 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. And you said you had no one that wishes to speak. All right. Item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from January 13th, 2014 regular meeting of the Commissioners Court.
Judge, taking a look at those, and I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton and a second by Commissioner Hockaday. All in favor of approval of those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And there are none. Item number 3, status report on Titus County pass-through projects. We have with us this evening Mark Heidecker, who's driven up from Houston and is driving back tonight, hoping to beat the inclement weather that's sure to hit South Texas.
Judge, Commissioners, good evening. Pretty much for update, we weren't really looking to do a major update today. We were looking to discuss some of the bridge issues and then open up the north section of 271. But there is...
is that on?
I don't know. Is it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
Go ahead and pull it out if you would there. I'm sorry. Thank you.
We're going to be here a while with it. So. I did just get one update from our lead engineer, Rick Cronenberger. The 271 lane change they were going to do by FM 1000, that has been postponed today and should resume Thursday, depending weather. There's a little half-a-mile stretch there. They were going to switch traffic, so you should be seeing that on Thursday.
That's on the south end of town, and what are we going to see down there?
You're going to switch. We're going to move traffic from the existing 2 that are on to the fresh new 2 lanes that have been put out there. So I'm not sure exactly what else you're
talking about down there at the funeral home?
At the funeral home, that's correct.
Will any change be made before that, north of that point?
Not that I'm aware of, no,
okay.
Sir. Not that I'm aware of right now.
All right.
Right. We also have another agenda item to discuss, maybe opening the north end of US 271. Going to discuss that with Commissioners Court and get a decision from that as well. That will not open right away. We're still waiting to clear up a couple of items that TxDOT has requested in regards to maybe a turnaround lane and maybe some drainage as well. That's outside of the scope of the plans that the contractor was supposed to do, but TxDOT has been requesting that. FM 2348, that's done, all opened up, so we're pretty good to go on that. Once the weather cooperates, they are going to fog seal a portion of the asphalt there that was starting to show some water spotting. But besides that, everything is wrapped up on 2348, and we'll be closing that project out.
Okay. Any general questions about loop status project? I asked Mark to focus his attention on the bridge rather than spending time on a lengthy report. All right, we'll move on then to item number 4. I just wanted to make a couple of brief comments. Over the last couple of weeks, I've received many phone calls, visits, and emails from concerned citizens. All have been reasonable and very well-meaning. I've also had the chance to make some calls and visits of my own with people that have skill and trustworthy knowledge in areas related to our bridge problems. 2 of these visits were with engineers with vast experience in this area. I have seen the survey data. I have no reason to believe that it is not accurate. The data indicates a 1.01 foot difference between original elevation points on the railroad track and the same elevation points today. We are 15 inches short at the lowest point on the bridge, not 2 feet, not 3 feet. I have not met with the railroad, but I have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday, and I'll have, of course, a few questions for them that I hope to get answered. Completion of the bridge is my #1 priority. Delay is not a good option if it jeopardizes our completion of the pass-through project as a whole, which potentially delays our repayment schedule from TxDOT. Based on my conversation with PTP and TxDOT, I believe that the force account change order that we are about to consider is the way to go because I believe it affords us the best chance to fix the bridge for the lowest cost. This $168 million project, consisting of 3 different roads and 3 different contractors, is still under budget and will likely complete under budget. We are fortunate to have over $4 million in contingency that will enable us to fix the bridge and move forward. That doesn't mean we're going to use the $4 million, pay for the bridge problem, and be done with it. It simply means we have money in the bank and we're not at a standstill because we've run out of money and can't fix the bridge. The county will do everything reasonable to complete the project at the lowest possible cost to the county. We have no intention, nor have we ever had any intention, of ignoring our right to pursue the compensation for our bridge problem. I believe that it is in the best interest of the county to continue to maintain positive working relationships with everyone involved in the design, construction, and management of this pass-through project, but at the end of the day, we will be prudent with your county resources. Mark, we've got on the next agenda item here to consider and possibly approve a work authorization for Williams Brothers in order to begin work on the Union Pacific Railroad crossing at the south end of the 271 loop. You may begin anywhere if you want to address anything that I said or pick up from there or start fresh.
Sure. Thank you, Judge. Last time we were here, we mentioned the bridge and the needing to raise the bridge to meet the required railroad permit of 23 feet 6 inches. As the judge mentioned, currently the bridge is 15 inches short, a little bit over 1 foot, 1.01 feet is the difference in elevation from the current top of rail height to, from the original top of rail height to the current top of rail height being measured today. So with that, that makes up 12 of the 15 inches. There's 3 other inches out there. At the end of the day, Titus County, our staff, we need to get the bridge raised. We need to get the bridge complete so Titus County can start receiving their payback from TxDOT. With that, we bring to you, not per se a change order, a work authorization off of the force account that we said with Williams Brothers, where we have got them to limit their ability to charge more than $1.845 million for the bridge. Our goal is to bring it under that number. We have worked with the engineers to shake out about a 16-week delay time on creating some of the equipment needed to raise it. We've also worked with them on some other design criteria that will allow for better operation of their staff and utilization of the cranes to where they're not sitting idle in there. Right now, we know we have some room. Williams Brothers has stated they are not going to charge the county the $6,495 a day overhead charge that they would be due for the delay this will cause. They have forgiven that part of the equation, as well as the $5,000 a month in barricades. So that's over a $600,000 savings right there that would have been on top of the bridge fix. So we're working with Williams Brothers to get this change order moving / force account. Our guys will be out in the field monitoring the force account on a daily basis. We will sign off on all work authorizations with the contractor, what equipment was used, what machinery, what personnel, the hourly rates. We have also got with TxDOT, sent them all the data that the court is here going to hopefully approve today. We've received a letter back from Roger Ledbetter, and the letter states the retrofit details for the structure at County Road 2040 have been approved by John Holt of the Bridge Division of TxDOT in Austin. The concept for the change order has been approved by FHWA as well. Titus County may proceed with the work to retrofit the structure at County Road 2040. So we are working right now to get that going. We're asking Commissioners Court to consider approving the authorization for Williams Brothers to start tomorrow on the reconstruction of the bridge over the UPRR and start the engineering phase of it.
Mark, I got a question. My
Yes, sir.
conversation with you and with Jeannie
Yes, sir.
and with Bobby Dick has all been that y'all going to have a man there every working hour. He's going to see everything that they do and will record everything that goes on with the Williams Brothers.
That's correct. That's how a force account is handled. Every day, at the end of the day, whether it be 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, one of our staff members will have to sit down with one of Williams Brothers staff members and collect all timesheets, collect all equipments, and all rates, so we'll know on a daily basis what we are being charged to repair the bridge. At the end of the construction, we're going to tally all that up, and my goal is under the $1.845 million number.
And I understand he won't be responsible for any other construction or any other work going on anywhere else.
That is correct. This guy will only be overseeing that part of this phase.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, any questions?
Well, yeah, obviously there's a lot of questions, and a lot of people have a lot of questions and point a lot of fingers, a lot of blame, and so forth. And I feel strongly that, in essence, that I'm curious if we hire a independent engineer to represent Titus County during this construction. Will that affect paid in any way? How will that affect? Because I feel like we've got to do it. We've got to get it done. We've got to give them the okay to go. But I would like a little bit of oversight to see that so we'll know what's going on. I would like, so that people could know, just for fear of, a little cronyism, just to make sure that we have a independent voice or sight, another set of eyes. Will that affect you anyway?
Affecting PTP's contract is hiring. You can hire surveyors, you can hire engineers, you can hire consultants to oversee the overseers. Personally, I don't feel that's a good use of the county's funds to go get an overseer over an overseer at this time. We have a fix that was designed by the engineers, not PTP. The engineers had to design the fix off of the bridge that had to be approved by TxDOT. It had to meet the requirement of the railroad permit, and then it has to be accepted by TxDOT after construction. So hiring another engineering firm to oversee that we're going to have 23 feet 6 inches, I'm not for sure that's going to really bring any benefit to the county. If the plans are designed, built, and approved, and the contractor builds them per the plans, and we don't have anything outside of that scope that changes, like a change in field conditions, then we will have the clearance. I'm sorry, yes, sir.
No, go ahead.
The problem that became here was there was a change in field conditions. The railroad has the opportunity to make changes to their rail, whether it be replace the rail, replace the rock, whatever that case may be, which they consider maintenance on their rail that's in the permit. Until we get the bridge built and set top of rail to the bottom of that, and the permit allows the railroad to do that. problem is the railroad came in and they did make a change, and that coincided with the data that was in the plans. So to get another engineer to sit out there all day long to make sure the rail doesn't make a change, well, there's people on the ground now. At the beginning, this was right when the project was being let, right when the contract was just beginning to move in, so there weren't folks on the ground at that time when the rail was doing maintenance. So I'm not for sure what another engineering company would help. That would be like saying, let's hire another contracting company to oversee Williams Brothers to make sure they build the bridge correct. They build per spec and plans in the project.
I didn't mean another engineer. I mean like a consultant, an engineer that's a consultant to do it. In other words, we've been let down by somebody, Pate, Railroad, Williams Brothers, who knows? But we don't have a choice. We have to go ahead and get the thing fixed and get our money back.
Yes, sir.
So to ease everybody's mind, we'd feel a lot better. We're talking about a consulting engineer and a retired engineer to oversee the thing a little bit. We're not talking about a great deal of money, not another firm, just somebody to make sure our counting, or somebody to represent, a little closer look that has time to do that. And I don't think will that affect, I'm not talking about a firm.
No, I understand, but I feel that's what PTP was hired to do, and that's what our staff is out there doing. We are out there overseeing the contract, overseeing the engineers. We were the ones that actually found this mistake out in the field. The contractor didn't find it. The railroad knew nothing about it. We brought it to the railroad. We didn't have to bring it to the railroad. But if the railroad would have brought something down that track that was 23 feet 6 inches and it hit, we knew who they'd come to blame. So our inspection staff quickly notified the parties to be. We asked Williams Brothers to halt all construction. They felt they wanted to keep constructing and keep putting the beams up since they had a crew here at the time, and figured we'd fix it, at a later date when we got to that point. We knew it had to be fixed. To have somebody else out there doing the same thing is really repetitious. Then it becomes, to Williams Brothers, who do they listen to? Do they listen to PTP staff? Do they listen to the court? Do they listen to this design consultant engineer, this individual? There's a lot of different parameters that have to be thought when you're out there trying to fix a bridge of this magnitude. We've had several meetings with TxDOT, several meetings with the railroad. We've had several meetings with, Titus County taxpayers on ideas of how they would like to see the bridge fixed. All very good ideas. And if it was a bridge on your property crossing your private railroad, we would probably fix it that way. The problem is there's design criteria that we have to keep up. We have to keep the railroad happy, and we have to have TxDOT accept this at the end of the day. We all know the railroad has a bridge 50 miles, 100 miles down the track that's probably 22 feet. But now their permits state 23 feet 6 inches. So we have to adhere to that. So, to answer your question, me personally, I don't think it's needed. I'm not for sure what he could offer. I think there would be, maybe some complication out on site about who's in charge versus who's not in charge. My understanding is PTP is in charge of getting these projects to completion, under budget, and making sure Titus County gets their full reimbursement from TxDOT.
They could even be a help to Tate if they are keeping up with these hours and times and so forth. But
our staff is very capable of doing that on the change order basis. That's what we have. Our staff's been trained to do that. We've done multiple projects like this all throughout the state. In the last 7 years, we've developed over $600 million in projects. So, we have a fairly good understanding of what it takes. I know there's a lot of good folks out there that understand just as well. That's not a decision I can make. This is something for the court that you would have to decide. I think it's a duplicate of manpower and personnel, my honest opinion, but it's something for the judge and the commissioners.
Well, the sentiment is that you've let us down a little bit, Pate has, and let this happening, and that may or may not be true, and it's not even a point that I want to get into. But anyway, this might ease a lot of people, a lot of pressure off of people.
I understand, and our staff has been up here day and night, working 6 days a week, hours after hours. trying to produce the best project out here for Titus County and a project that's accepted by TxDOT. We've done 5, 6, 7 pass-through projects, multiple ones, always accepted by the state, always getting your full reimbursement, and always passing FHWA audit. We intend to do the same things for Titus County. Change orders, force accounts, unfortunately, it's part of construction. You cannot design a perfect project sitting at a computer. There's always things that change out in the field. On average, and this doesn't ease the pain of anybody, TxDOT carries on their budget 15% for change orders on construction projects. This project was $76 million. Right now, we are sitting at about $1.5 million in change orders, give or take, adding in, you know, what we've got to do here with the bridge. So we are managing this project to the best of our ability, like it is our own money, like we have skin in the game here, and we're going to bring this project in under budget. Do things like this happen at times? Yes, they do. This is not the first time we've seen it. This is not the last time it's going to happen. Unfortunately, we have humans that are typing in computers. We have folks out there surveying data. We have changing field conditions. Things like this happen at times. Nobody likes the way it feels. It is a lot of money. We understand that. We're trying to minimize that. But by minimizing it, we're trying to find savings in the project. We're trying to find, you know, ways that the contractor can work more efficiency. They're working as well, taking some of their overhead and cost out of this. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to get it built. The road's going to open. It's going to be a safe bridge. Everybody's going to travel on it. And then we're going to find out who's ultimately responsible and how much money the county can recoup.
Thank you, Al. Any other comments or questions on the issue of approving Williams Brothers to go ahead and start back to work? No? Okay.
I make a motion we approve the Williams Brothers to start the work on the.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hockaday to approve a work authorization for Williams Brothers in order to begin work on the UPRR crossing at the south end of the 271 loop.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and there are none. All right. Item number 5, consider and possibly approve hiring an independent engineer to represent Titus County on the UPRR bridge repair, specifically what Commissioner Riddle was talking about. If you would like to, if you want to continue that conversation or any other commissioners would like to interject.
I would like to hire a retired, if we could find a retired engineer to assist in this force billing, because that's a lot of paperwork, a lot of time, and I'd like to, I think everybody might feel a little better, and I'd like to recommend that we do hire one. I'm sure we can find a retired engineer from TxDOT or somewhere that has some knowledge of this kind of billing, in fact, the force billing account. So, but that's, I would make a motion that we do that.
And I will say that I have thought long and hard about this too, and I have considered both sides of this, and I was not, and I asked you guys if there was any desire to put this on the agenda, and because you wanted this on there, I did put it on here. I did want to discuss this. I was definitely more in favor of this before than I am right now. Both of these two engineers that I have spoken with discussing this entire situation did not see any benefit to bringing in somebody to oversee the team that Pate has in place. They saw it as an impediment to moving the progress forward as quickly as possible. So I'm not going to second your motion, but anyone else here is certainly welcome to, and we'll call a vote.
I'd like for us to wait and see how this goes before we make a decision on hiring. You know, if it's going good and they're getting the paperwork done, I don't see any sense in us having one. So I'd like for us to wait until this gets started and kind of moves on down the road a little bit.
Okay, well, I still have a motion on the floor.
Well, Judge, I do know that we're going to be talking to Union Pacific in the near future, and I would like to talk to them before we make a decision also.
Okay. If there is not a second, then I will entertain any other motions you'd like to make. Anybody in favor of tabling this?
I make a motion we table this at this time.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Hinton that we table this decision on hiring an independent engineer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That's unanimous. Item number 6, discuss and possibly take action on whether to open up the north end of the 271 loop between Highway 49 and Interstate 30. And here I'm talking about the area there near the old Western Sizzlin north to the interstate.
That's correct, Judge. We were asked to make an inquiry with TxDOT to see if they would be willing to accept the north end under their maintenance program, because in the pass-through program, the contract between the county and TxDOT, there is a provision that allows the state to accept an independent utility section if they so wish for maintenance, which would allow us to open the road before the entire project is complete. We were not asking TxDOT to start the payment back early. We were just asking if we could move forth with opening that section for the Titus County taxpayers. And, then once the project is completed, then the whole thing could be pulled in their system. There was a letter written to Mr. Bob Ratcliffe asking of this. Mr. Ratcliffe responded and said that he had consulted with some of his legal team, and even though he would love to accept it into his maintenance, at this time they had to accept the entire project. So at the end of the day, it was really an item for Commissioners Court to decide on if they wanted to go ahead and open the north end and allow traffic on the newly constructed lanes. In doing that, Judge and Commissioners, I just want to let everybody know, if TxDOT is not willing to accept the maintenance of it, that means Titus County holds the maintenance until the full project is done for US 271. If we open it, the risk to Titus County could be as minimal of a car accident, some broken glass. We have to find somebody to go out there and sweep it. Williams Brothers is not under contract to do maintenance on the section once we open it to the public without TxDOT taking the full maintenance. It could also range for something as large as a traffic signal. Somebody having a car accident, knocking the traffic signal down. Traffic signals range $150,000, $200,000, $250,000. In saying that, what's the possibility that that may happen? How many times a year do you see somebody hitting a traffic signal? I would probably say very small. I realize very important for the taxpayers of Titus County to get this road open. The business owners want it open. It's pretty much ready to open. We have a couple of requests from TxDOT that we're waiting to get some answers back. As I mentioned earlier, they're wanting a turn lane put in. They're wanting some drainage stuff, which was not part of the plans but would be outside. So they've asked us not to open it as of yet if Commissioners Court decides to go ahead and open it. So once we get those couple of issues addressed with them, if the court allows, we are ready to open the north end section. So with that, Judge, I would ask, the commissioners to think there is some risk out there. I do think the risk is minimal, but whatever would need to be done, mowing the grass, somebody steals a stop sign, somebody takes a US 271 sign, somebody goes in the ditch and runs their truck in there and ruts it up, Titus County would have to fix that. They would have to mow it, they would have to re-level the dirt, they would have to re-sod it, we'd have to replace the signs, if that happens. If nothing happens, there's no extra expense to it. But that is the risk that we could face if we go ahead and open it up. I think it needs to be opened up. We're ready to open it. I think it'd be a big help for the constituents, for the business owners, but with that does come some type of risk. And I think it's our job to notify court whether the risk is small or large, what's out there.
They haven't started the turnaround yet, have they?
They have not, no, sir. We're still working with TxDOT on that, figure out who's going to pay for that. It's a request made by TxDOT, not in our plans. So, we're working that right now, yes, sir.
Well, I hate to see the court take the responsibility. You know, we're talking probably 5 months, 4 months longer.
With the bridge right now, they're saying estimating worst case 95 days on the bridge. That was before we took out, you know, some delay time due to the pedestals and so forth having to be shipped back. You know, I mean, we have to be prepared. It could be, you know, August, September, October. You know, if we get 2 months of bad weather, it could be, you know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So I hate to say for this date, it's only 3 months, it's only 7 months. But, you know, I think the judge has had some conversations with Mr. Ratcliffe as well. There's a handful of reasons why you should open it. There's a handful of reasons why you shouldn't. Do I really believe that the traffic signal is going to get knocked down tomorrow? No, I probably don't. But I don't want to sign my name to the check that says we got to go put up another $200,000 light pole. We can always go after the car that hit it, their insurance company. That takes time. The problem is you have to get that signal pole up right away.
Well, I'd like to see it open, but I'm not real sure we want the responsibility of the maintenance and all on it. That's
the risk you
I know
take.
those businesses are hurting. And
They're hurting, yes, sir. Williams Brothers wants you to open it. They feel it will bring us some good PR. It will help the business owners there, but still, it's Titus County that has to take the risk on if something happens. We don't have equipment to go out there and sweep up the glass or clean any of that if a wreck. We'd have to find somebody to do that, you know.
Well, we don't have equipment either.
That's exactly. That's what the county doesn't. So I hate to keep it closed, but I think
Commissioner Riddle?
Court needs
We're
to.
responsible for many, many intersections and conditions, and aren't we, all over the county?
Yes, we are.
I don't see why this is, well, it's a risk, but I
don't
think
we're
we should.
responsible for anything
I think
the
we
scope
should.
of that, though.
I'm sorry.
We're not responsible for anything that's the scope of that out there. That, you know,
Well, not right now. We will be in 95 days, right? After we take it over, or
Well, no, once TxDOT takes it over, it'll be their problem if any wrecks occur.
Yes, sir. Once this road is complete and TxDOT has accepted it, they have full maintenance on the entire 271 project.
At 49, right down at 49, 271, who's responsible for that intersection? The city?
No.
out down there.
TxDOT?
State is.
State is.
All the state highways are
Right.
TxDOT.
All state highways are maintained by the state. Yes, sir.
We don't maintain anything on the state roads.
Right.
They tell you real quick to leave their roads alone.
And Judge, we do have some time. Like I said, we're not per se ready to open the road tomorrow with the few changes that TxDOT is asking. You don't have to vote it open today or not, but we wanted to bring this to court to let the court be aware of what we would like to do. We would like to open the road, but there is some risk involved. Now, our ultimate decision was to get TxDOT to accept it. We tried that. I'm not saying that avenue is 100% closed. Maybe we can use some folks higher up. We can take it a notch higher than the district level, but is this something we want to do? And, you know, we still may not get the approval.
That would be my preference, to wait, and then maybe we need to talk to someone in office.
Sure, and yes, if some of the commissioners, the judge, we can make some phone calls. We have tried, the judge has seen the letters, he spoke with Mr. Ratcliffe. The letter's pretty definite that they are not accepting it. They will not do it. Not that anything was built incorrectly, not that there's something substandard, it's just they don't want that little bitty piece yet until they can have the entire section. So they could if they wanted. I think we all know that. If they really wanted to take it, they could take it. That's right, yeah. If everybody in here got on the phone and started making phone calls saying accept it, that may help. But, you know.
Not sure it will.
And
Anyway.
the judge has had in-depth conversations with Mr. Ratcliffe, but.
Well, they told us the same thing about 67, they weren't going to accept it.
That's right.
And it did in a week, so
That's right.
who knows?
You're absolutely right. Yes, sir.
Commissioner.
Mark, on this,
Yes, sir.
the speed limit, what would it be when the state accepts it?
I'm not sure what the speed limit is exactly right there. I'd have to look at the plans and the DSR, because what they do is, you know, they study the speed limits. It's set at a little bit lower speed, and then they run some traffic studies, and then they'll come out and set the ultimate. It was designed for the highest amount allowed, but for an exact speed limit, I don't know that off the top of my
They
head.
wouldn't
I'm
set the
sorry.
speed limit on that end since they hadn't accepted it.
That's right.
Yeah, not on that, right. It would have to be something that the county right now, we would have to put, and we would come to the court with a recommendation of what we allow based off the DSR and the engineering plans.
Well, I know one thing, I'd like to see where people could go through on 67.
Yes, sir.
I know there's some businesses and stuff up in there that's really
Hurting.
had a hard time. This is something, I hadn't thought about this, but as far as going higher up or something, we might look at that and see if we can get them to do that. But I really would like to see it where they could use both sides of it.
Most definitely, yes, sir.
And that's our initial goal, and that's what I thought we would be able to do.
And we do too. We would like to open it. We really would. It's ready to be open. We've addressed a couple of their concerns they had, but now they've come up with a turn lane they'd like to see put in there. So that will take a little bit of time, but if the court decides to open it, then if you vote today and say open it, the day we can open it, we will open it. Like I mentioned, Williams Brothers, they want to open it. They're ready to open it. I met with them Friday at my office, and they said open it. But at the end of the day, the ultimate decision sits with the court.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we table this at this time till we can check it to the higher up and see what we can do. And also, I'd like to say what we've talked about this in our TxDOT meetings and stuff, but I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do that turnaround.
Yes, and we've seen some of the plans, but
there's not even a plan on it, is there?
there's a preliminary plan, but
Okay.
the Williams Brothers is not in favor of it right now, and so they're making some changes to it, and that's just
Williams Brothers not in favor of the turnaround?
Right. They think it's going to be more of a problem, but
It looks to me like a terrible place to put it.
I agree, but TxDOT, this is something that they looked at, that they want to add. This was not part of the construction plans that were approved. This is out of scope, but this is...
Does this come out of the Atlanta district that wants to do it? Atlanta
Yes,
wants to
sir.
do that?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay, I do have a motion on the floor. Second, before we vote, I would like to say that I wish y'all could hear some of these phone calls that I get from these poor business owners up and down 67 and 271, as well as the general public that's trying to maneuver that section of road. Fellas, this isn't a hard decision for me. I understand there's some risk involved here, but
Sure.
there's a lot, to go out and tell these guys that thought that road was going to be opened up December 31st, oh, sorry, it's going to be August now, is a tough, tough call, and I don't think it's right. I think this is one of these times you're just going to have to man up and say, we're going to do the right thing, and we're going to accept some liability on this deal and work together if we do have to deal with a situation. I do have a motion, and I do have a second by Commissioner Hinton.
Say something else. When could we know from the upper, not Atlanta, but
And that's what I wanted to bring up. Who's going to go to somebody higher?
Well, that was the last thing I told you to do a month ago, and you tried,
We tried
and
that.
it didn't work.
We took it up. We went as far as PTP could do. I'm just saying from a political standpoint, if somebody else thinks there's a favor they can put in, I still say TxDOT can accept this if they want to accept it. There's a provision in the contract that allows it. Now, TxDOT may have a different opinion, but if they knew what opening this up would do to help Titus County, to help these business owners, and what risk does TxDOT have of opening this up? I mean, they could make a deal with the county if a sign breaks, this county could pay for that, but if something major happened, TxDOT would take care of it or something. TxDOT has the resources to fix problems that happen with traffic signals and so forth. Counties and cities, they usually don't. So, I'm really big on opening it up. It's just, I have to tell you the facts from the small end to the large end. of what we could be out there assessing. I don't know who else we'd go to. Somebody wants to take it up to the executive director. I mean, is this something you take that high up? Man, this is really a small thing when Mr. Ratcliffe kind of feels, hey, you know, that the risk is kind of minimal. He knows there's risk out there, but he feels it's minimal. So, and Judge, you saying in August, I think we'd be lucky if we could even open it in August, since they want the entire project. So, with that being said, it's a tough decision.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of tabling this, say aye.
Could I ask a question? How long do we have to table it? Can we have it at the next meeting, 2 weeks from now?
You can table it. If it was tabled, I would have it on the next agenda anyway.
Well, I'm not in favor of tabling it, but then anyway, I think we should.
Okay, I
think we should
I've
open
got
it
two
up.
in favor. All those opposed, say aye. Aye. If you are opposed to tabling it, say aye. Who voted to approve tabling?
Me.
3 of you? Okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, motion passes. We'll table this. We'll put this on the agenda in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your honest comments there.
Do you think it would help us to contact Austin and see if we can talk to him?
I don't think it hurts. Like I said, I know the judge has spoke with Mr. Ratcliffe, and I know Mr. Ratcliffe has spoke with Austin from his legal, he states. So, I mean, that's what I'm asking. I don't know who you want PTP to go contact, or, you know, I mean, we can give you the documentation out of the contract that we think allows for a provision to do it, but now it's just of interpretation. But I think, sure, the more people that make the phone calls to say, look, you know, accept this just for maintenance, they can do it if they want.
Okay, thank you. Mark, do you have any other questions for Mark? This is the end of his 3 points that he had to address the court on, so here is your opportunity. You've got a long drive. We appreciate your coming up, and drive safely. Item number 7, consider and possibly approve a retainer agreement with Allison Bass and McGee, LLP, to represent Titus County pertaining to the Loop project and the Union Pacific Railroad overpass, or such matters as may be assigned by the Commissioners Court.
I'll make a motion, we table that a couple of weeks and see what happens.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Riddle to table item number 7. Well, that's not what I expected, to tell you the truth. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, I think it's good to have somebody. I know Jim Allison and Bass. I know they're probably as good as they come, and they definitely can. They've been through this process of where all the companies that are involved in this 271 are bonded, and you can. They've done this before, and I think they would do a good job if we have to proceed at some point in time. And
well, you asked me my opinion. I put this on there because I didn't see any negative in going ahead and getting somebody involved with this that we trust, that is knowledgeable, that has the expertise to look at all aspects of something like this. We're talking about a long-term relationship here potentially, but again, I was going to tell you to be prepared for some legal fees to start racking up. But without advice of a competent counsel such as Allison Bass, I don't trust my ability to analyze these contracts and to know what decisions to make and when to make them. Approving this retainer does not mean we're ready to start issuing subpoenas and issuing lawsuits right now. That's not what that means. It means we get competent legal counsel involved that can help us to make decisions with all the different considerations we have to make, and the primary one being we want to get this project completed, and we don't want to start threatening our contractors here while we're trying to get a job finished. So I don't see any point in holding off, but again, that's up to you. I have a motion by Commissioner Riddle to table this for a couple of weeks.
Well, they'll still take the case 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And they're very capable. I agree with all of that. That's who I'd pick also. I think it's a good choice, but I'm not sure. After
That's fine.
we should rush into spending legal fees.
Anybody wish to table this or second this? All right, anybody else? That motion has died for lack of a second. Anybody else care to make a motion?
You're talking about tabling this for 2 weeks.
Yeah, just 2 weeks.
Till we can.
We'll know a lot.
Well, we're going to have the opportunity. We'll be going to A&M next week, and Jim will be there. I'm not sure if Bob will be there, but I know Jim will be there. And I have not had an opportunity to talk to him in person, but we will see him at A&M at schooling. And you know, I really don't have a problem with tabling this 2 weeks. I think we do need counseling. I do think we need to proceed if we choose to go that way as a court. And so, Judge, I'd like to go back and second his motion, if that's okay.
I'll allow it. Motion and a second by Commissioner Fields. All those in favor of tabling the matter of a retainer relationship with Allison Bass, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. All right, item number 8, discussion and potential action regarding the creation of one or more county energy transportation reinvestment zone. And I'll, going forward, refer to these as a CETRZ or a CTERS, as authorized by law to promote one or more infrastructure projects to be located within the county to be funded by the CTERS, including the potential boundaries and requirements of a county energy or of a CTERS, as authorized by Section 222.1071 of the Transportation Code. Well, I've got mine.
Oh, we'd already done all that.
No, we haven't. Let me read this. I'll kind of give you a summary of what we have done. If you'll recall, back in late November, I was notified by the state of the availability statewide of $225 million in grant money to be used for county road improvement. Titus County's share of this grant was $311,000. We received further instruction on this grant money and how to apply for it while we were at the Commissioners and Judges training on December 5th at the Ag Extension Office. Jim Allison and his staff gave that presentation. On December 9th, Commissioners Court agenda, the court authorized the judge to set a date for a public hearing to discuss the formation of a CTERS. Formation of the CTERS is the main requirement to be eligible for the $311,000 in grant funds. Any county that does not form a CTERS will forfeit their allocated grant funds, and those funds will be available pro rata to those counties that successfully apply to the grant. On December 23rd at 5:30 p.m., the court held a public hearing to present information and receive public comments on the formation of the CTERS. On January I think that was the 9th or the 10th, the court held a workshop to discuss requirements for the application for the grant. We went over 1, necessary documentation that was required by each commissioner. 2, we defined our CTERS zone, the geographic area that was required, and we discussed possible projects to be funded by the grant. We agreed that each of you would have your road condition report and list of projects to me by January 23rd, which was last Thursday. At this time, I will read the order authorizing the creation of the CETRZ and then ask for your approval. So bear with me, this is pretty boring. In the Commissioners Court of Titus County, an order authorizing the creation of a county energy transportation reinvestment zone known as Titus County Energy Transportation Reinvestment Zone Number 1, establishing a base year for ad valorem tax values, creating and stating the terms and duties of the Titus County Energy Transportation Reinvestment Zone Advisory Board, and establishing an ad valorem increment account. Be it remembered that the court, prior to this date, has provided public notice by publication in a newspaper of the general circulation in the county to be printed not less than 7 days prior to a public hearing. And after conducting that public hearing, the Commissioners Court of Titus County does hereby make a formal determination that Titus County has been severely affected by the development of new oil and gas activity within the county, generally and more particularly adversely affected by the increased heavy truck traffic on county-maintained roads. Further, determine that Titus County will benefit from the availability of these funds provided by the state of Texas pursuant to Chapter 256 of the Transportation Code. The area described more fully herein is unproductive and underdeveloped, and the creation of a county energy transportation reinvestment zone would promote the public safety, facilitate the improvement, development, or redevelopment of the property affected, and enhance the county's ability to sponsor transportation projects within the county. Finally, the creation of the CTERS and the establishment of an ad valorem tax increment account will assist the county in addressing fiscal needs while permitting enhanced stability in the county budgeting process. It's therefore ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the Commissioners Court of Titus County hereby establishes and creates a county energy transportation reinvestment zone as authorized by Chapter 222 of the Transportation Code. Such zone to be titled Titus CETRZ Number 1, operated in compliance with said chapter, and the Commissioners Court further designates the contiguous territory identified in Exhibit A. It's further ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the base year for purposes of determining the subsequent tax increment for the Titus County CTERS Number 1 shall be the tax appraisal year of 2013. In this regard, it's further ordered that an advisory board for the county is hereby created, whose members shall serve for 2 years and whose successors may be appointed by the court as their terms expire. The advisory board shall not be entitled to receive compensation for service to the board, nor entitled to reimbursement for expenses. The advisory board shall perform such tasks or functions as provided by law and as the Commissioners Court may from time to time require of the board. The board shall review all project plans for the zone created by this order and shall provide comment and recommendations to the court. It's further, let's see, members of our advisory board are Royce Carr, Earl Hale, Alan Spann, Troy Sellers, and Mike Price. It's further ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the county treasurer shall establish a suitable interest-bearing account to be known as the Titus County CTERS Number 1 tax increment account, and that such funds may be accrued pursuant to the provisions of the code and shall be deposited annually in the said account, together with such other and sundry funds as may be allocated to the said tax increment account. The Titus County CTERS Number 1 shall remain in force and effect for the initial term of 10 years from the date of formation, and shall terminate on December 31st of the 10th year after the designation of the zone unless terminated earlier in conformity with the law. So there is the order that I would ask for your approval. If there is anyone that has need of refreshing how this zone works, I'll be glad to tell you, but in our workshop a few weeks ago, we determined that an appropriate zone was in Commissioner Hinton's precinct. And with Commissioner Hinton's assistance and that of the appraisal district, we have determined a 0.7 mile section of road, and we have included 4 parcels, 2 of which are on either side of that road that will be included in this zone. And this zone is, and Philip, correct me if I'm wrong, County Road 1825. And it begins at the intersection of County Road 1825, and it heads due south 0.7 miles. And the end of our zone is, again, 0.7 miles south of Highway 71, approximately where the pipeline crosses in a northwest, southeast direction.
Yes.
And we have 4 parcels that are included. Parcel 2358, which is a 45-acre tract, parcel 8526, which is a 24-acre tract, parcel 9847, a 16-acre tract, and parcel 255990. To give you some an idea of the relative appraised values of each of these 4 properties, the most recent appraisals of these 4, one was $38,000, one was $83,000, one was $2,000, and one was $14,000. And again, the way that this works is after we establish this base value, which I've just given you here, and I've rounded it off to the nearest thousand, any increases that come about in these 4 parcels, the revenues from the increase in value will go into a special account, which I just described to you as that CTERS #1 bank account, and will be earmarked solely for the use of future road projects. We are not talking about a lot of money here. We were talking about somewhere less than $1,000 if the property were to go up, you know, just a reasonable amount over the next few years. So we specifically picked out properties that are not highly valuable at this time, and there's not a strong, there's not a big chance that they're going to dramatically go up in value, but nonetheless, this piece of road that goes down between these parcels is in pretty bad shape, according to Commissioner Hinton, and needs to be repaired. So we have defined that as our transportation reinvestment zone, and that will be one of the projects that we will work on as part of this, this grant money if we are fortunate enough to receive it, and I believe that we will if we just complete the paperwork correctly. Questions or comments or a motion to approve? Pull that mic over there for you. How about that one?
Just to make it clear to the public,
And you can bring that down there with you if you
I'm
want.
understanding this,
Yeah.
if I'm understanding this right, if we collect the whole $311,000 in grant money, we're not required to spend any particular portion of that money on this part of this road. It's one of the projects.
It is one of the projects, and yes, it does. We will want to spend some of the money on that particular project. That's one of Philip's top projects, and we do want one of the projects to be included in the zone. So we specifically picked out a zone that has a high probability of getting some road work on it.
But the point is, there is a lot of the money will also be able to be spent on other roads.
That's right. That's right.
It's not that all
the money can be spent anywhere in the county, and in our previous discussions and decisions, we determined that Commissioner Hinton's precinct would receive approximately 40% of the grant funds for use in his precinct because it had the highest damage from energy-related road damage. But we can spend that money wherever we want within the county, and each of the commissioners have put together a list of prioritized projects that far exceed the amount of money we will probably get from a grant, but we wanted to be sure that we had projects that were more than enough to spend all of that grant money, especially in view of the fact we may get even more than $311,000 if there are other counties that, for whatever reason, choose not to participate.
If I'm understanding it correctly, this money is not tax dollars. This is money that came from the energy industry to fix up the road.
The grant money, that is correct. That is correct. It is money from the state that came from, they have various ways that they're collecting monies from these energy companies, and they are funneling some of that back to us based on certain parameters. There was a list of parameters that were given that, based on the activity that we have here in Titus County, made a determination as to how much we got. Some counties got very little. Some counties might have gotten, you know, several million, but we got 311,000. or we're hoping to get $311,000. It's matching grant money. We'll have to spend the money first and then request reimbursement. We will have to match it 10%. 10%. So if we get $311,000, we'll have to come up with $31,000, and grant monies will be reimbursed to us for the other 90% of what we spend. But the creation of this zone is simply one requirement in order to even be able to apply for the grant money. I know it's confusing.
Also, Judge, if other counties decide not to participate, that money's going to be given to the counties that do participate. So
Yes, that's
it could
right.
be more than 311.
That's right. Okay.
Want a motion?
I want a motion to get this CTERS formed,
I make a
please.
motion, we accept.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Hockaday to form this Titus County Energy Transportation Reinvestment Zone number 1. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Okay, the next two items relate back to this grant that we are going to apply for here the second week of February. And item number 9, discussion and potential action regarding the Senate Bill 1747 prioritized project list for the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund Grant Program. And along with that, discussion and consideration of accepting county road reports for filing in the minutes of the Commissioner's Court. In my discussions with a couple of you, I'm not sure that you're 100% finished with either of these two items, and we do not have to have this done tonight, but we will need this very, very quickly. And so if we are not ready, if you have not completed your prioritized project list, if you do not have a complete county road report ready at this time, then we're not going to be able to approve either or both of these items.
Judge, I make a motion, we table 9 and 10.
Okay. Let's start with item number 9. Table item number 9. Now, let me put this in perspective. We're all leaving for school next Monday or Tuesday. You're going to be gone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. As you get back in the office on the 7th, which is Friday, is when we have to apply for this. So between now and when you all leave, we need to have these reports completed, and we need to have another special meeting to approve these. We cannot wait 2 more weeks till the next Commissioner's Court meeting before we approve these reports without jeopardizing the timeliness of our grant application. So, that said, would you like to have a meeting on Friday or on Monday?
What, do we have them? No, we don't have them.
They're not all complete, is what I'll say.
I would say Friday.
Okay.
9 o'clock that morning is fine. I'm clear.
I'm complete. Carolyn has mine. Carolyn has mine.
Okay. All right, would you be willing and able to meet again on Friday morning? I believe I have a probate matter that morning, but I think it's at 8:30. We could meet at 9, I believe. Is everybody okay with a 9 o'clock Friday meeting to have your reports completed and to be able to approve these? Okay. All right. Who made the motion to table? I'm sorry. Commissioner Hinton, and who seconded it? I'll second it. All those in favor of tabling items number, well, let's just do one at a time. Tabling item number 9 until Friday morning this week at 9 a.m., say aye. Aye. Opposed? And item number 10, I'll make a motion that we table this until we had a chance to complete the road report, and we will have that meeting on Friday at 9 a.m.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Item number 11.
You're going to have both those items on there?
Yes, I will, because we have to approve these, and we have to file those road reports in the minutes. They have to be notarized and they have to be filed with the grand jury. So there's some very strict particulars, and we can't have these. We can't have either of these two partially complete. They've got to be fully complete. Item number 11, consider and possibly approve repairs and improvements to the 303 East 11th Street, our Health and Human Services building. And here's what they would like to do. They would like to replace one broken glass on the east side of the building, install commercial carpet tiles in 2 cubicle office areas, approximately 30 by 12, remove the contents, disassemble and reassemble the cubicle components as necessary, provide electrical services to the units to accomplish the finished floor install. This includes a transition from the tile to the vinyl where applicable. Next, they would like to install new pressure-treated 6-foot wooden privacy panel type fence at the east end of the building in close proximity to the exit door used by the staff. And lastly, remove the vinyl floor tiles from the workroom area covering about 220 square feet and replace it with new vinyl flooring, and replace the cove base in that work area. The state will oversee and manage the project and will be fully responsible for the budget of the project if the county is not able to pay for this work. So there you are. I don't think in the past we've ever paid for their repairs, but we've always been happy to allow them to make improvements to our building.
I make a motion we approve the repair improvement list.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday and second by Commissioner Hinton. Did you have a question about this?
No,
okay.
They're going to pay for it, right?
They're going to pay for it. Labor and materials. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, item number 12, presentation of the annual Sheriff's Office Racial Profiling Report. I heard a presentation by the police chief last week at City Council, and now it's our turn.
I gave you a copy of this at our last meeting in case you had any questions, y'all get that. And I also put a copy on the bill. In accordance with the law of Article 2.132 of the Code of Criminal Procedures, I have to give y'all this once a year, but you can look at it. It's pretty self-explanatory, not a lot to it. The front page is our policy on racial profiling that we're required to have. You'll go back to the third page. That actually it just gives them. Now remember, these are not calls that we go on like to a family violence. This is traffic related only. So this just kind of gives you our number of what we do and the card we search and information on that. In the last page, it actually breaks it down to the percentage wise of it. So it's just required to get to you. And actually, if anyone in the public would like to look at these with the city or probably anywhere in the state, you can go to tclo.com or Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. You can look all this information up and see it for yourself too. But if you have any questions.
Are you doing any racial profiling?
We're looking good.
Good.
I'm happy about what we're doing.
You're happy to stop anyone regardless of age or ethnicity?
None that's got a right to complain about it. They're safe. They say we're doing a fair job.
Okay. We don't need any action on this, but I did want you to see that. Any questions for the sheriff? All right. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate your staying around. Item number 13, consider and possibly approve payment of a pauper's funeral for Tony Mitchell in the amount of $950. We don't get many of these, but this is one that I believe is worthy of your consideration tonight. And $950 is the price that has been quoted by J.C. White of the funeral home. Have a motion by Commissioner Fields and a second by Commissioner Hockaday to approve this. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. Consider and possibly approve travel and seminars for Titus employees and elected officials. Luann Rollins at our County Extension Office would like to attend the East Region Professional Development Seminar or Summit in Nacogdoches, February 19th, 20, and 21. Registration cost of $50. $120 of $120 of per diem meals, $211 worth of Holiday Inn. Personal vehicle traveling 242 miles with a grand total of about $517. Luann says she's on the planning committee and has to go a day before to set up. She'll stay 3 nights and split 2 nights with another agent. Here's Commissioner Riddle's request to get his expenses paid to attend the V.G. Young Institute School for County Commissioners Courts. That'll be next week in College Station. $195, cost of registration, $120, meals, $74.99 for 2 nights, $173.60 estimated total for the cost of the hotel. $475 miles, about $266 worth of travel, grand total of $754.60. Cheryl Pretty, our treasurer, would like to attend 42nd Annual County Treasurers Continuing Education Seminar. Yes, mandatory training, April 22, 23, 24, $180 registration, $140 per diem, $414 worth of motel, personal vehicle traveling 608 miles, total cost for everything $1,074.48. Last one is Kendra Gray from our clerk's office. Kendra's the chief deputy. Would like to attend Texas College of Probate Judges in Fort Worth, March 12, 13, 14. $375 registration cost. Total cost of per diem $100, hotel cost of $250.70, travel costs of about $165 for a total cost of $891.68. That's all I have.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields and second by Commissioner Hinton to approve travel and seminars. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 15, approve oral and written reports.
Thank you, Cole.
Motion approved. Report.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 16, consider and possibly approve the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hockaday. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 17, budget amendments. None. Thank you, Carl. Item number 18, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Motion to pay our bills.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday to pay our bills.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item number 19, closing comments by judge and commissioners, if any. I'll start on my far left. Commissioner Hockaday.
I don't have any, Judge.
All right, motion, Mr. Commissioner Hinton.
I have nothing, Judge. Thank you.
I will say thank you, everyone, for attending. I know that a lot of you wanted to hear about this stuff tonight. I appreciate you patiently listening tonight. I'll stick around for a few minutes. If anybody has any questions, wants further information, I will be glad to assist you in getting it for you or helping you get that information, and I'll continue to welcome your comments. Whether we see eye to eye or not, I will get you the information you want as best I can. I look forward to getting back started on this bridge, and I look forward to coming up with a suitable solution for getting it paid for.
Judge, I just have one thing. This coming Saturday, February the 1st, we're having our chili supper at Tri-Lake Volunteer Fire Department. It'll start about noon, and you go by and pick up chili, take it home, whatever you want to do on that. Then they'll start the evening meal around 5:30. Around 6 o'clock, there'll be a cake auction, and you'd like to, I think it's supposed to be warmed up, but right now it's supposed to be cold the rest of this week. But I would like to invite everybody here. If you don't have anything else to do, please come out and enjoy some good chili. This Saturday, February the 1st.
Noon till late afternoon.
Noon till, usually it goes to about 8:30 at night. But there'll be entertainment on and off during the day, be people singing, and about 5:30 they'll in the process of starting the cake auction. But we'd love to have people come out and support the volunteer fire departments. They do a good job.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Riddle?
Don't have anything.
All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm glad you're here tonight. We have a executive session here. Item number 20, County Judge requests an executive session. We've tried to do this on multiple occasions, and our attorney has not been able to attend, so tonight he's given me enough instruction and training to convey his message to you. So we're going to meet for a few minutes here. I do expect some action to come out of this. Let me go ahead and read that. Item number 20. Judge requests an executive session pursuant to the Government Code, Section 551.071, regarding consultation with attorney to update the court on pending and/or threatened litigation, settlement offers, and/or matters in which the duties of the attorney under the Texas Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas require confidential communications. Again, this is a 6-month-old item that is relatively small. I'm hoping we'll have some action to come out of this and put this to rest. You're welcome to stick around, but we're going to get together here in private for just a few minutes, and at that time we'll come back and adjourn. Again, if you want to stick around, that's fine. It won't be anything, any huge news. I promise. Thank you, Doug. Good to see you.
One thing, what about that, us getting involved in opening that thing up? You mentioned, I mean, I know it's off the agenda, but you mentioned that the citizens could ride down to this Ratcliffe.
Sure.
Maybe help.
Bob Ratcliffe is the head man at the Atlanta, Texas office. And he may say you need to talk to somebody other than him. Bob's our friend. Bob does everything he can to help us. He's not antagonistic. He's just simply saying, I'm doing what our legal team has said we have to do. Or if you know somebody in Austin that has any pull with TxDOT, but he would be an excellent place to start.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, it is 7:40, and we are back in regular session. We have just completed our executive session, and I will entertain a motion on the matter that we discussed, which was a legal matter involving a lawsuit and the bail bond board. And at the advice of our counsel, Mr. Robert Davis in Tyler, he has made a recommendation to us, which I have shared with the commissioners.
I'll make that motion.
And the motion by, I'll expand on your motion if I may. The motion by Commissioner Hockaday is to settle a lawsuit for $2,500.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. And that concludes our agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Commissioner Hockaday and second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.